This is how I prepare goat head from start to finish. First I roast it, clean the skin, separate the meat, then cook it until tender and finish it with fresh coriander and green pepper. Let me show you how I do it. This is our goat head before roasting. I start by roasting the goat head over the charcoal stove. Roasting is important because it helps remove air and gives the outside that beautiful roasted flavor. Next, I cut off the ears. After roasting, I scrub the entire goat head thoroughly with brush and clean water, meaning that I removed it before I start cooking it. This is our goat head after washing it. Once it is clean, I press it in a cooking pot. I added enough water. I cover the pot and place it over my charcoal stove. At this stage, I'm simply boiling the goat head until the meat becomes tender and easy to separate from bones. Let us check if it is already tender. Once the goat head is tender, I remove it and let it cool enough to handle. Now let me show you what I'm using to bring all the flavors together. We have cardamom powder, black pepper, we have spring onions, red onions, green pepper, coriander, then tomatoes. After the goat head cooling down, I remove the skin. Now comes the interesting part. I carefully separate the meat around the jaw and teeth with hands, breaking the head down into smaller pieces. The meat around the head can be quite firm, so cooking it until tender first makes this step much easier. I place the clay pot over the charcoal stove. I add some oil. Once the oil is hot enough, I add in my onions and saute until soft. This creates the flavorful base for the sauce. Next, I add the spring onions and give everything a good stir. Now I add in black pepper. I add in cardamom. I like adding in spices at this stage because heat and oil help release their aroma and flavor. I add in tomatoes. I season with salt for the taste. I cover the pot and let the tomatoes simmer until they become soft and cooked down. This gives us a rich sauce rather than having a new pieces of tomatoes in the final dish. Now I add some of the broth I reserved from the boiling the goat head. I don't want to waste that broth because it has already picked up some of flavor from the goat head and it helps make the sauce rich, even delicious. I let it cook for 20 minutes. This gives a goat head enough time to absorb all the flavors while the sauce becomes rich and delicious. I add my green pepper and add it towards the end so it keeps its fresh flavor and doesn't completely disappear into the sauce. And finally, I add plenty of fresh coriander. Look at that. The goat head pieces are bubbling beautifully and coriander gives it that fresh finishing touch. And here is the final result. Tender, flavorful goat head cooked in a rich tomato sauce with all those beautiful spices and fresh herbs. If you have never prepared goat head before, I hope this step-by-step recipe has shown you exactly how to do it. If you enjoyed this recipe, don't forget to like, subscribe and let me know in the comment, have you ever eaten goat head? So everyone, bye bye, see you in the next one on Thursday next week.